All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here with Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Mill Stone. All right, so this lesson I'm going to do on the recent controversy, right? Hebrews to Negroes, and Ronald Dalton, of course, you have heard of that name, and also Kyrie Irving, right? Saying that we are, right, the real Jews, right? The Jews being black, and the prophets returning and prophesying the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, right? The 12 tribes, right? Southern and Northern Kingdom, right? Coming back to the remembrance of the former ways, right? You have Kanye West, right? As well as these various celebrities, right? Speaking the truth, right? All these Hebrew Israelite camps, right? Going out prophesying, right? Against the so-called white man, right? His name is Esau, right? You other nations prophesying the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, through the power of Spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakwadash, right? So it's evident that we are in the latter days, as spoken by Yahweh Shai Hamashayach, right? Now our job is to ride the wave of controversy, right? And at the same time edify our people, right? So now this is a video that Elder Apostle Tahar recently put up, right? This is Hebrews to Negroes creator sits down with Captain Tazariak, right? That's Ronald Dalton, right? And I checked out the movie. I watched all of it. So I'm going to give you a quick recap of right, what I took from it, right? Because as you know, this man Ronald Dalton, he teaches that Esau is not the so-called white man, that it is they are Japhites, right? So he's teaching that so-called white man is Japheth, right? Which is incorrect. Right, so now I'm going to give you like I said, a quick recap of all these things. Right, Lord willing, you're edified. Right, and the point is, right, we got to ride off this controversy and show you, right, what is true and what is not. Right, like scriptures say, right, no weapon can formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up in judgment thou shalt condemn. Right, that is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Right, and this man Ronald Dalton, right, I strongly believe he's Josephus back in the regeneration, right, which is that was his slave name, like Elder Apostle Tahar brought out, right. I believe his name was Yawasap in the Hebrew, meaning Joseph, right? But I strongly believe this man is Josephus back in the regeneration, right? Because they even look alike, right? Check this out. All right, let's just look that up real quick. Josephus, right? It says Titus Flavius Josephus, Hebrew Yawasap ban Mathathayawa, right? Which is I believe Matthias, right? Like one of the names of the during the Maccabean period, right? Which Mathath meaning of, Thoth meaning to give, right? In a sense of gift, giving, right? So Mathath Matha Tayahawa, right? Which is roughly translated as Matthias, right, was his name, right? It says 37 to 100, um, C37, C100 was a first century, right? So this is AD, right? Which is also known as CE, Christian era, right? Um, so this man was a Roman Jewish historian and military leader, and that's all he is. He's a modern day Josephus, right? He's not a man of the Lord. He's not a teacher. He's not a prophet, right? This is, right, me, in my personal opinion, I strongly believe this is Josephus back regenerated, right, reincarnated, which is in the scriptures, right? So let's check this out. Ronald Dalton, that is his government name. Ronald Dalton Jr., right? Check this out, right? That's the man right there, right? Now take a look at this. Salakia. Clicked on the wrong one. Right? Take a look at that, right? Now watch this. Josephus. Right? Salakia. Just trying to get it on Google. Josephus. Right? Can't tell me that there is not a similarity there, right? The nose, the beard, right? The facial structure, right? That is him, right? This one is a little bit Salakia. That is a little bit more accurate. Check that out, right? Josephus. Now let's go back to Ronald Dalton. Right? Come on now. Look at that. Right? But anyway, that's beside the point. Right? The point is that right, the Lord is stirring up, right, Jake, right? And I've seen online, right, social media that, one of the brothers, I believe they're in GMS, he said the Lord has a sense of humor because he's stirring up Jake through basketball and shoes, right? Which is exactly what the Lord is doing, right? Salakia, right? So, right, the lion, right, is being roused up, right? You see that even in politics, right? Jake is asking for reparations, right? Jake is waking up, right? Which is vain. That's vain, right? That's worldly, right? Um, but at the end of the day, right? Jake is getting roused up, right? Everyone is waking up to Esau's lies, to his political system, which is, right, built for him and his people, right? Scriptures say that this is not our rest, right? So our job is to what? Edify, right? Prophesy the end, right? And the end is be made manifest, right? So this is Hebrews to Negroes. Creator sits down with Captain Tazariak, right? I'll just go ahead and put the link in the description box, right? Because we're gonna touch on the lesson at hand, right? Now check this out, right? This is it from Amazon, right? The book review, Hebrews and Negroes book review, right? nothing but positive reviews, right? Jake being woken up, right, uh, to a certain, right, dispensation of the truth. Why? Because Jake is asking questions, right? And right, this started, right, with One West, right, and then continued through the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, right. And our job is to receive this truth, and right, we're entered into onto their labors, right. So check this out. Like, make sure I don't click the wrong one. Right, just rewind it. So 4 out of 5 star ratings. I'm gonna pause as I read these. Right. I'll just scan real quickly. The masses are the American people, and the primary target in America is African Americans. We are slowly being eliminated, and we don't even see it coming. It is time to wake up, Black America, before it is too late. Even though we have lost our heritage and past thanks to slavery, which was foretold by Bible prophecy, it is not too late to correct or slow down what is going to happen if we don't act now. Right? And that is from the book. Right? But the reviewer says what? The first volume of a comprehensive worldview. Right? That's exactly right what it is. I mean, you gotta take the good information with the bad and do your own research and study, right? He observes, we are named after two nations, continents. We have black skin, but are called African Americans or negroes. There were many nations back in time that had black skin. The Persians, the Elamites, the Hebrew Israelites, the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Nubians, Cushites, right? And really all nations had black skin back then, right? Except Cain, which was cursed with leprosy. That was the sign of Cain. Esau came out all red because that was that same cursed seed, which was Cain's seed, which was destroyed after the flood, coming back into regeneration, right? Which is why Apostle Har recently did a video, right? And Lord willing, I do a lesson on that. But basically, this was about a video that Vocab Malo made, right? Saying, trying to justify that Esau, right, which is a so-called white man, was not was not according to the precepts, right? Because it said that that he had hair like goat, right? Trying to twist the word, right, and make it sound like, right, that Esau was not who the scriptures say he was, right? When at the same time, right, for example, right, you look at the account when Jacob's mother, right, put goat skin on Jacob, right, and Isaac felt the hair, right, that was on Jacob, which was a one of Esau's garments, right, made of animal hair, right, and Isaac being convinced that it was not Jacob but Esau, right. So the point is, right, like the scriptures say, right, his hair and his head was white like wool, right. So there's a distinction there, right. The fact that, right, so like I said, right, all nations were black. Even you can look at certain archaeological evidence, right, of ancient Moabites, right, which were black originally, right, but through mingling and so on and whatnot, right? The nations have gendered or mixed in with these Edomite women, as well as Israel themselves, right? So, right, the point is, right, and even right in places like India, you still see very dark people there, right? But the point is, how about Shemi Shai divided nations, peoples, tongues, right? They had a certain look, right? They had certain customs, they had, right, and so on and so forth, right? So, right, the truth is being exposed, right? New understandings, new revelations are given out, right? Day by day, right? And this whole thing really is to create a narrative, right? Right, for the small hats to ultimately, right, persecute the men of the Lord on a larger scale, right? Those that believe that they are Israelites, right? So, like I said, our job is to ride on this wave, right? To edify our people, right? Those that are learning, their job is to learn, study, and right, do their research, right? Which is where you see many of the people in these reviews. That is exactly what they are doing, right? He notes in the Bible, it didn't say that the Hebrew Israelites were white. We do know from ancient pictures that the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Canaanites, Libyans, and Hebrews were brown black people, right? Which is correct, right? We also know that if the Hebrews mixed with the children of Ham for over 1,000 years, that there cannot be any such thing as a pure Hebrew Israelite or a majority of white Jewish population in the world, especially if they shared the same skin color as the sons of Ham, right? This is partially true, right? Which is why you have certain Jake that look like Hamites. You have certain, right, even in the land of Israel today, right, you have, right, certain people calling themselves um um Muslims, Arabs, or right, they might be calling themselves um following Judaism, right, and they may look like, right, so-called white, Chinese, whatever the case may be, right, but we believe, right, because Israel scattered everywhere, right, that there are some that look like these other nations that are in the land, and they are of that bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but not all of them, right? As a whole, they are converts. They are, right, of the tribe of Esau, right? The devil that the Bible speaks of, right? So again, right, this is about doing your research, right? Dividing the words of truth, right? Rightfully, right? Being able to give an answer to every man that asketh, "What is the hope?" In your hope concerning, right, the word, right? So it says, because we know that the black gene is dominant over the white gene in terms of physical characteristics of a mixed offspring, even the Hebrews were white, they would still look like African Americans today, which is not correct, right? Case in point, you have what do you call Chris Humphrey, right? Which is a man, which is his father's a Jake, which had children by a white woman, right? But the seed, right, is of the father, like we know, right? But the son looks, right, white, right? You can research that yourself, right? Um, and various other examples, right? Throughout the entertainment industry, right, in the sports leagues, right, and so on and so forth, right. Um, So let's just keep see what else we can get, because there's many and many and many, right? I'll just kind of pause it for a second so you can take your time and just read it for yourself, right? Right, let's see what else we can get. This is 10 minutes worth of just reviews, right? So it says, he states, from 600 AD to 1900s, even today, Arabs have mostly taken slaves from Africa in what is called the Arab slave trade, right? And that's correct, right? Because you had, like it says in the scriptures, right, you had Hamites selling our people, right, to Esau. Hamites selling our people to these Arabs, right, which they have a price to pay as well, right? They're good, they right, um, and right, ultimately, right, if you are not of the elect, you're going to be destroyed, whether you're in America, Babylon Great, or throughout the whole earth, right? So the other nations got a price to pay, right? And the day is dawning closer and closer, right? The day of the Lord's wrath, right? As you see, right, a vast amount of information just coming out, right? Which is the Lord hastening the day, right? So it says, right, and you also had, right, Israelites selling Israelites, right? Which is, some camps, they teach that it was just Hamites selling Israelites, which is not correct. Our own people sold our own people, right? Just like in the time of the Maccabees, right? Antiochus Epiphanes and whatnot, right? So it says, these Hebrew Israelites were brown, black skinned people in those times and not white, European looking people that we see predominantly today. The black Hebrew Israelites' disappearance is a mystery to many, but it has been all foretold in the Bible, right? Which is correct, right? Um, Says the African Jews were following the laws of Moses from the Torah and practicing Hebrew customs before Christianity or Islam entered into the continent of Africa, right? We know Christianity, we know Islam is all a form of Catholicism, right? Christianity is white supremacy. Islam is nothing but, right, a bunch of Elamites and Arabs, right, pushing doctrines of men, right? Muhammad was not a prophet. He was a murderer, right? Um, Islam is not the way. Christianity is not the way, right? Um, which is right, and even right, you read the book um Timbuktu, right? Salakia, I don't really recall the whole title, right? Um, right. You have the accounts, and this is history, right? Right. Muhammad first learned from the Jews. The first Muslim woman, her name was Khadijah, was a Jew, a Jake, not no white European, right? So these things, right, had to be exalted, right, in order for the latter days, right, the truth to come out, right? So, like I said, right, right, the Africans did not sell just Israelites. Our people sold Israelites into captivity, right? So it says white European Jews cannot have black children. This means that somebody is obviously lying about who the real children of Israel are, right? So let's keep on scrolling down and see what else we got here. Right. So like I said, I'm pausing it so you can just get a glimpse of Slovakia. Press the wrong button. Right. So it says right, let's just right. So this is just out of one review, right? So you can imagine what people are learning and doing the research on, right? Just based off what these reviews, how this is the truth is impacting the minds of the people, right? Let's see. Right, so you can read that on your own. I'm just gonna keep moving on, see what else we can find. Right, so the Gentiles and the heathen have been there since the destruction of the Second Temple, 70 AD. Later, he observes one cannot be anti Semitic if the people being talked about is not a descendant of Shem, but Japheth instead. The current term for this scenario would be anti Japhetic, right? Which is exactly what Kyrie and Kanye are saying, right? Alright, so let's just keep this going a little bit. Alright, like I said, I'm pausing it so you can read these, pause the video and read these on your own. Right, if you're interested, right? See what else we got right here. See what else we got. So it says, he states, the truth has been right in front of our face every time we open the Bible. He again quotes Job 30 and 30 and Song of Solomon verses 5, chapter 1, verses 5 through 6, as well as Jeremiah 14 and 2 and chapter 8, verse 21. It can be taken as a description of skin color or an emotion. You be the judge. Lamentations 4 and 8, right, which literally describes how the real Jews would look, right? And if you study the text, it's the word there is describes visage, which is, I believe, parath, right? So that verse actually says the visage, right, meaning how the children of Israel look, right, is blacker than coal, right? Isaiah 29:22, right, which is actually talking about, right, Jake, face not waxing pale, because, right, we would not be without this truth, right, forever, right? Ultimately, there'd be a remnant that would wake up and receive the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, which is the Scriptures, which is the true understanding, right? So now, this is another review. from a verified purchase. Gave it 5 stars. Uh, so this particular person wrote the most informative, descriptive, history challenging, core beliefs shaking book you'll ever buy. I heard the review reads, I heard Paul Mooney and Dick Gregory, two of the 20th century's most outspoken and prolific political and comedic minds, say the same thing about this thing we have all heard said before, right? And let's see what else it says. Slovakia. You can just kind of read these, right? Truth, right? Laura Nelson, this book speaks the truth about the black race. Another reviewer, and again, this is about the book, right? Me personally, I haven't read the book, but I watched the movie, right? I'm gonna show you what I learned from it, right? But this particular reviewer said this book is not anti-Semitic. This book is about showing love to Shemites, right? Which are the sons of Shem, right? You have what? Semitic languages, right? Which is languages that are part of the Semitic line, like Arab, uh, Arabic, Sanskrit, Nabatean, right? Then you have, right, Hamitic languages like Phoenician, Sabian, right, which is Ethiopic, right, which if you look at the scripts, right, they all have remnants of Hebrew in them, even the words themselves, right, Syriac, right, um, and so on and so forth, right. So, like I said, right, there's languages that are Semitic, right, even Chinese, right, Japanese, right, what are they called? Um, um, Salakia, the way kanji, right? You look at the earlier symbols of like Japanese kanji, right? That all goes back to Hebrew, right? So again, the Semitic language. Then you have Hebrew, which was a man named Ibaria, right? Meaning one from beyond or from the past. Ibar means from the past, right? And right, which is right where you get the word abar meaning to soar, to fly. Abayar, right, denotes an excellent one, right, or excellency, right, which is right. You go into the word Abraham, right. Um, Not only does it mean father of multitudes, right, um, or exalted father, right, which was Abram, right. It also means, right, um, um, Abba, right, which means father. Um, Raham, meaning um, um, merciful, right, which is right. The word Hasad means pious or piety, right, and then Raham denotes the womb, but it also denotes a wide area, a wide space, but it also denotes merciful, right? So Abraham, right? Abar Raham, right? Um, Abba Raham, right? Denotes Father of mercies, right? Why? Because ultimately, right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to restore the earth through the promise that he made to Abraham through the chosen lineage, right, which are the Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? So the word Abraham is a sort of play on words in more than one way, right? A bar, right? Right? Because the scriptures say in the book of Genesis, right? He was known as a mighty prince amongst the place, the land of his sojourning, right? So a bar, right, denoting excellency, right? Um, um, right, and right, um, which is the root word for multitude is hamawan, right, meaning multitudes, right, because the excellent multitude is ultimately going to be the elect, right, starting with the 144,000, right, the teachers, then the great multitude, right, to restore the earth, to push, right, the law, statutes, and commandments, right, to be which will be for the healing of the nations, but ultimately, right, first judgment has to come to pass, right, the day of the Lord's wrath, right, many being consumed, and the Lord's devouring fire, right, World War III. First, you gotta have, right, the charagma, right, instituted, martial law, right, all hell breaking loose, right. But anyways, right, check this out. See what else we can find. So it says this is a review from DD 4-star, which gave the book a 4-star review. It says, when I saw this book, I was quite intrigued by the title and had to get it. Some may say this book is backed by faith and not historical evidence, but is the history we're taught based on truth or unbiased evidence? Right? And that's a good question. And I didn't click on the see more Salakia. So again, I'm pausing it so you can kind of read these yourself, right? Here's another one, Child of the Most High. Salakia. So this is the most important book I have read, right? See what else we can find. Salakia. Kind of scrolled a little fast on here. But Amazon customer says, which gave it a 5-star review, I have not heard of this book, and now I can't imagine not having it handy, right? And they wrote, I use this book as a resource and companion to understanding biblical times and terminology, especially as it applies to black people. I love the large print and its comprehensiveness, right? This is from Teddy, 4-star review. It is a good wake-up call, he wrote on the review title. And it says, this book, a good read of someone who has come to knowledge about the truth of an identity and the history that has made us forget, right? And that's in 2015. Look at that, right? So the Lord is doing his work, right, upon the earth, right? The truth, right, is coming out. The end is being made manifest, right? Sean Robinson wrote, I learned a lot in reading this book. Very informative. Can't wait to read book 2 and 3. Everyone should read this book, especially Israelites. Right? So I'm just gonna keep kind of going. What does this say? The true Hebrews of the Bible do not practice Judaism, which is a counterfeit of the Bible. Right? This is from a 4-star purchase. This book is a must-read for black people everywhere, especially those whose ancestors came here as slaves. Woo! That's from 2020. This is from Michael Daniel. I enjoyed the book. It was rather long, but it was filled with great truths and biblical verification that go ignored or have been misinterpreted for years. All right, look at that. This is from January 12, 2022. 5-star purchase. Star 5-star rated. The header reads, "Need to read. This book is absolutely the truth. Every Hebrew Israelite, African American need to read this book. That's right, shut off the TV and pick up this book. It will help us unify." Right? How's that going to happen? Ephesians chapter 4 and 22, to we come into the unity of the faith, right? To edify the body of Yahushua HaMashiach, which are the elect, the Israel of God. Perfect unity of the faith means what? We all understand that the charagma is coming. We all understand that persecution is coming. We understand the narrative that Esau is pushing. And at the end of the day, right, the Lord is going to deliver the remnant of his people, right? So that is the unity of the faith. Perfect measure means we're all speaking the same thing, which will not happen, right? Because that's not biblical. What's biblical is there's going to be false teachers, false prophets, sellouts, right? Those that speak the truth, they're ultimately going to be heard by those that hear the truth, and that's it, right? That's the unity of the faith, right? Like the scriptures say, "O nation not desired." That's not talking about just because you know you're an Israelite, right? Or just because you're in the biggest camp. No, that's not what that's talking about. It's talking about nation not desired, meaning the remnant, right? Those that receive the true understanding, right? So this is so like a review. Says Tim, 5-star purchase, verified purchase review. A true wake-up call. I've been curious as to how I could help the black community after learning the truth about our people. I found this book later and just wow, I was absolutely mind blown. Ideas begin to flow while reading this book. Right? So there you go. Right? See what else we got right here. Slovakia. Right? 5-star review. This is from Slovakia. Right, so very informative. Right, some reviews say amazing. History of the African American race mixed with Bible wisdom all in one. Right, very informative. Right, amazing. Writes another reviewer. The Most High told the world that before the final days, he will pour his spirit into the world. This book is amazing. That's from 2016, right? The knowledge of the truth is powerful, but the use of the truth is unstoppable when combined with the Most High and united people of the book. All right, that's from 2021. Right, so let's see what else we can find. This is from Shade Yakuk. Love this book. I have 2 copies actually. Ronald Dalton Jr. did an excellent job with collecting centuries of records regarding our urban history. Right. From start to finish, this author is completely captures you in the history of religion and how it plays upon our world as we know it today. Right? This book is only for lovers of the truth. Right, so nothing but positive reviews. Right. Let's see what else. One reviewer said, "Thank you. Good book, but long." Right. Lee T, this reviewer wrote, "Every black person should read." Slovakia. This is in 2017. In all my years, I have never read a book so full of truths and things that black people should know. Mr. Dalton, you are a truly blessed man of Yah. You can tell with your words that he has inspired you tremendously, and it's all good. Right? Let's see what else we got right here. So that review that I just skipped up ahead is from 2020. It says "Wake Up," right? Which is actually let's slack it. Just keep going. Right. This book should be read by people of all nations. Ron did a tremendous job, and his research is impeccable. Right. Imuna wrote "Hidden Identity." This book is very informative. It hits you with not only biblical facts, but historical facts as well. A definite book to add to your book collection. To be deceived of who you are is a choice. The information is out there, the harvest is near, and the tares will be plucked from amongst the wheat. Wake up, chosen people. Shalom. There we go. All right. So we're in the 6-minute mark, right? You can see there's still plenty of reviews, which, right, allude to the fact that some of these reviewers, they know what exactly is going on. Right? They know they're Israel, right? They know the times that we're in, right? Another reviewer, Jeroham, Isaiah 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner. He wrote in the title of his review, Isaiah 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know, my people do not consider. Psalm 94 and 16, who will rise up for me against the evildoers, who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity, right? And you know where they learned that from, right? The camps, right? A lot of people talk shit about the camps. Camps are Masons. Camps are they're run by the government, which is BS, right? Oh, you're part of a camp, you know, nothing but foolery, right? But in the same breath, they say, right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right? Or Shalawam. They know damn well they got that from the camps, right? Amazon customer 5-star purchase review says the header reads, "Who am I?" And this particular reviewer stated, "I am a Hebrew in America, therefore I am a Negro or Israelite. How could I just learn this information?" Right? That's in 2019. Right? Good read, highly recommended. This particular reviewer said, "This book has a wealth full of information and has been tremendously beneficial to me. However, you can never take the word of man over God. With that being said, cross-reference with the word of God," right? Which is correct. Right? So the Lord is raising up what? Prophets, wise men, scribes, historians, right? Esau's own people are they're right. They're causing their tongue to fall upon themselves, right? And let's just see what else we got right here. This particular reviewer said, "Best book I have ever read so far. He has opened my third eye," which is folly. Very, very informal on what has been and still is going on behind the scenes. Right? Which reminds me of something. I'll have to look that up later. So let's see. Alright, so we're at the 9-minute mark. This particular reviewer said, "Wake up, the truth is being told, read it. Everyone should read this book and give it to every friend. The world is not what you think. It is time to wake up to the truth and make a stand." That looks like a so-called white person, but like I said, right, we are scattered and mingled amongst the nations, right? And the scriptures say, right, to judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment, right? But you get the point, right? Many positive reviews, right? So let's go, Salakia, right? Now I'm gonna show you what I learned from right, this particular movie, right? Let's let's touch on the Pygmy tribe, right? Which they are known as the world's shortest tribe, which in today's modern day would be right the biblical Canaanites, right? Look at this, right? This is right biblical sons of Canaan, right? Now let's just go back to Wikipedia. Um, Pygmy peoples and anthropology. Pygmy peoples are ethnic groups whose average height is unusually short. The term pygmyism is used to describe the phenotype of endemic short stature as opposed to disproportionate dwarfism occurring in isolated cases in a population, right? The term is primarily associated with the African pygmies, the hunter-gatherers of the Congo Basin, right? The term is Asiatic pygmies and Oceanian pygmies have been used to describe the Negrito populations of Southeast Asia and Australo-Melanesian peoples of short stature, right? Um, so pygmy is Greek term pygmeos, uh, meaning a short forearm cubit and a measure of length corresponding to the distance from the wrist to the elbow or knuckles, right? In Greek mythology, the word describes a type of dwarfs, first described by Homer, the ancient Greek poet, and reputed to live in India and south of modern-day Ethiopia, right? Right. Uh, Many prefer to be identified by their ethnicity, such as the Aka, Baka, Mabuti, Tawa, right? The firm, the term Bayaka, the plural form from Aka, Yaka, is sometimes used in Central African Republic in reference to all local pygmies. Um, right. African pygmies live in several ethnic groups in Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Republic of Congo, Cameroon, Guinea, Gabon, Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Madagascar, and Zambia. Right, um, right. So these are Canaanites, right? Um, right. So these people go back to the late Stone Age, right? Um, right. So their language is Ba'aka, right? Um, right. You can kind of read this on your own, but just touching on, right. See what else we got right here. Culture. Right. So that's it, really for that. But there you go. Right. Um, the biblical uh, Canaanites, right? Revealed, right? Right. Also, right in the movie there was some comparison to the Hebrew with other Afro-Asiatic languages, so-called, right? And one of them mentioned was the Zapotec script, right? You can look this and read it on your own, right? Um, but I'm just gonna type in, right? So this is, I guess, Proto-Mayan script, uh, meaning it was before the Mayan script was developed. The early evidence of writing in Oaxaca does not necessarily imply that the Zapotecs invented the first Mesoamerican system of phonetic writing, right? Um, let's see if we can dissect some of these Zapotec uh, words and right compare them to the Hebrew. Um, so English for one is Toby, two Chupa Chona, three Tapa, four, right? Um, see what else we can find right here. Actually, we'll just go to the Zapotec language is spoken by the Zapotec people in the southwestern and central highlands of Mexico. It is estimated that there are about 425,000 speakers of this language, with most of the people who speak it living in the state of Oaxaca. Let's see what we got right here. Um, right, and this is something I learned online, right, and in the movie, right. The fact that some of these words are just interchanged, right. For example, this word chow, right, means to eat, right. So you have, I'm just going to give you an example, right. Chow, right. Just switch the letters. You have what? Ah, aha, right, which is in the Hebrew akal. Salakia. Call, meaning to eat. Call. But here it says cha cha'al, right? And very, right, um, comprehensible, right? Let's see what else we can find. Let's see. So this word baku, biku means dog, right? So you have what? Dog in the Hebrew is Kalab, or Caleb, right? So you have, right, ib, ka, right? You switch the I around, right? Caleb, Kaib, right? So there you go. Let's see. Ruwa, right? That sounds like right? Wind or spirit, right? Which is in the Hebrew is racha, right? Which here it means the signification means mouth, right? The Shabaka Nadazina means under the shadow of the palm, right? And we know palm in the Hebrew is kap, right? Salakia. Let's see what else we can find. Right. Let's look at see what else we can find. Salakia. These are just phrases. Um, right. So this word for New Year, Iza Kubi, right? Which is we know New Year in the Hebrew is what Chadash meaning new, Shana meaning year, right? Or like the Amalek say Rosh Hashanah, right? Which is really Ra'ash Hashanah, right? Meaning summit year, new year. But right, so you have right Isa, right? The Hebrew is Aisha, right? Meaning to make, right? Chadash, meaning new, right? Isa, right? Kaba, right? Isa Kaba, Aishar Chadash, right? Just pointing some similarities, right? Let's see what else we got right here. Actually, that's it for that. Slovakia. So there you go, right? I'm gonna save that because I got right. So that is a Proto-Mayan script, right? Now let's move on to Sanskrit, the language of the writing system of the East Indians, which are the so-called Elamites, Persians, Iranians, etc., right? Which in these modern days they believe they are Arabs, Ishmaelites, right? When they are Elam, right? But even this, right? So like I said, you have Semitic scripts, languages. You have Hebrew Semitic languages, right? You have Hamitic scripts and languages, right? You have uh what do you call it? Right? You have Hebrew Israelites, you have Hebrew Edomites, right? And so on and so forth, right? You have Semitic speaking Ishmael. Well, Ishmael is a Hebrew Ishmaelite, right? Because Hebrew is their language. They call it Arabic, but it's Hebrew, right? Arab meaning to mixed, right? That's all Arab means, right? But then you have, right, Sanskrit, which is Semitic, right? But all these languages, like I said, they have, right, like the scriptures say, right, the earth was of one language, which was the Hebrew, which is why you see a remnant of certain words in various of these remnants of Hebrew in these scripts, and even the way the writing system is, right? For example, he, she, it is sa, right? Which sa in the Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew is sa, meaning thorn, right? This is the modern day Hebrew, right? This is the Arabic, which looks like a thorn. It looks like the Shah, because Sa and Shah in the Hebrew is interchangeable, right? Um, the Syriac is, I believe it looks like this, two O's, right? So this is Sa. Let's see, actually that's it really, right? He, she, it, right? The Ah, this is the Ah, and in Sanskrit, it looks like the Ah, just in the Paleo Hebrew, right? Just moved around a bit, right? This is the Ah in Arabic, Syriac. This is Ah Syriac. But the point is, right? It's pronounced um, Ah, Iya. This is the E. This is the Ah. It's Ah to them. Look at, so I, ahem, ahem, right? The ma is this word, this letter here at the end, which looks like this. The modern day ma is this. Paleo Hebrew is this, right? Arabic is this. The Syriac is this, right? As you can see, very similar to each other, right? So aham, but not just that. In many other letters, you have certain words. For example, let's see if we can find some. Um, I went over these a while back, but let's see what we can get here. For example, this is an easy one. The number one is a ka or achad in the Hebrew, right? This is, right? how they write it, right? Roughly translated word by word into Hebrew would be uh, a ka or achad, one in the Hebrew, right? Let's look at some other words. Uh, let's see, narrow. No. Let's see what else we can find right here. Uh, Slovakia. Kind of went over these before, but I didn't separate the ones that that I was going over. Um, let's see. Let's see. Hmm. Slovakia. All right, here's a good one, right? Head is Siras, right? Which in the Hebrew would be, right, Ra'ash, right? Ra'ash, right? So you have Ra, um, Seer, right? Which right, Ra'a, Sha, Ra, Sir, right? Which is really Ra'ash, head, right? So let's see. See what else we can find here. See. Slovakia, just bear with me. Find something else. Let's see. Slovakia. Let's see. Slovakia. Uh, all right. Cloud. Let's see now. All right. Ash, which is Asa, right? Which is Ash, right? Like I said in the Hebrew, the Sa and the Sha are interchangeable with certain words, right? For example, Shapar or Sapar, right? Um, 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 Kabas, right? Or Kabash, right? Kabash meaning to ensnare, Kabas meaning to trample, right? But they have, right, similar meanings, right? So ash is asa, meaning ash, right? Let's see what else we got right here. All right, so let's see. That's crazy because when I was looking at these a little bit closer, I found more than these. But you get the point, right? Let's look at right, Slovakia. This site, Hebrew Learn Free, right, on Facebook, right? So they go over the word zakwan, right, meaning beard or elder, right? You read on down, it says what? Maya in Mexico, beard is Kasim, right? Um, which is right. You see the za is in orange, right? Right, and it's more than just a coincidence, right? If you can't see it, it's right here. It says Kasim, right? Mayan of Mexico, right? That's a dialect. It's called Tazaltal. Tazaltal, right? Which is the right. The Sa represents the Za in Zaquan, right? The M is the Na, right? Na, and the K is Kwa, right? Kisim, right? Which would be in the Hebrew Zakwan, right? Which would be, right? You interchange the letters, it would be Sa succumb, right, which is the Zaquan, right? Um, right, so it's a corrupted form of Hebrew, right, in essence. Just like all the other languages, it's nothing but corrupted Hebrew, right? So let's look at something else. This is Beard, Quechua, Inca of Central America and Peru. Their way of saying beard is Sunca, right? You have the Sa, which represents the Za, the Na, right, represents the Na and Zaquan, and the Ka, it represents the Kwa, right? So Sun Ka, right, which is Sa Khan, right? You interchange the letters, which is a Kwan, right? Let's see what else we got right here. The Mayan way of saying it, the dialect, what's called Huastec, is Tazayuk, Tazayuk, which is Tazayuk, right? Which is Za, Taza, Ka, Salakia, Taza, where is it? Salakia, I lost track of where I was. Right. Tazak you, right, which would be Za Zakuan. The U is would be like saying Zak Zak Zakwa Zakwa would be so if you literally wrote it in Hebrew it would be Zakwawa Zakwawa, which is really Zakwan, right? In the Hebrew, right? The Ixil in the Ixil Mayan dialect would be Tazuk, beard, right? Again, Zakwan, means Zakwan. Chile, Yagan is a dialect, which is an extinct dialect. Grandfather would be spoken as Ushayan, right? Which is a Sha is the Sha is the Za, right? Ayan, right? Zakwan, right? So there you go, right? Same with other words, right? And let's see what we got right here. For example, horse, you know, people say that Hebrew is a dead language, meaning it's not used, right, in the modern day, but yet there's Hebrew and, right, remnants of Hebrew in all languages, right? So was meaning horse, right? The pre-Columbian natives of the Americas lacked horses but had deer. In Brazil, there is caso or cachibo, casoa, Jacobo, which is Jacob in Spanish, right? But it's a corrupted form of sawas, meaning horse, right? Which is, right, shasha, right? Like I said, or you could say shawash, right? Which the Hebrew for to be joyful is shash. We read about that in Proverbs, right? Book of Proverbs, I believe that's 8 or 6, right? Speaking about the story of creation, right? Talking about, right? Speaking on Yahushai, he rejoiced next to, right? The Most High in the creation, right? Because he was there, which is that word for rejoice, that to joyful, uh, or it says he delighted in the sons of men. It's shash, right? The heart leaps. When the heart leaps, we rejoice to see a hart or doe, male or female deer, running and springing with great speed and grace. This is best. A leaping ballerina following a script. This often happens when a herd of ruminants is threatened, right? Sas is to leap or frolic, and horse is sawas. In the language of Eden, shashawan is joy. Jeremiah 7 and 4. Right? So there you go. Right? So who are you to say that the northern kingdom uh, is not Israel? Right? Or what? Right? Or right? That's false. Right? Let's see what else we got right here. Right? So here, Wayarakwa, right? Which means only, which means empty, to empty out in the Hebrew, rakwa, right? Or yarak, it means green, denoting greenery or herbage or grass. This is the same or the opposite of Japanese karate, right? Where the hand, yad, reversed is empty, right? Kara, right? Which is backwards for yarak, kwayar. Ra'ak is reverse. No weapons in karate, which is the mantra of karate, right? To use your hands, right, in combat, right? So karate, right, which is kwayar, right? Remember, um, yarak or rayak means empty, right? Like it says in the Torah, thou shalt not appear before the Lord your God empty, right? Thou shalt appear 3 times a year. That word for empty is yarak or or rayak, right? So karate is roughly translated as empty hand, or rakwa meaning only, or I believe that's it. Slovakia. So make sure I'm not bugging. Let's see what we got here. All right. So we got Hebrew, Yarak, or Rakwa, Slovakia, Hebrew. Yep, only, right? Yeah. So, right, Rakwa meaning only, but you flip it, Kwayar, right, or Kara ta, Karata, te, backwards is um, which is Tey te, yet, would be backwards yet or yad, right? Only hand, right? And that is most definitely not reaching, right? Because you have multiple examples, which I just showed you, right? Now, let's see if we can find one more, and then we'll close it up, right? Lord willing, you were edified, right? Through the power of Spirit Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash, right? Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, right? If you can, catch that movie, Hebrews the Negroes, or buy the book, right? Um, so let's see, Czar, right? Meaning stranger, alien, right? In the sense of being alienated, right? Um, let's see. Actually, there's no examples that connected to other languages. Let's see. Actually, that's it really. But Lord willing, you were edified, and Shalom and a Bible ball. Shalom.